Hi, my name is Karen Neal, and I want to share my experience as a Next Step program volunteer. A few years ago, I sat at the Next Step breakfast with several others from my church, and I learned a tiny bit about the work of Samaritan ministry. There was a little card at each place setting that invited anyone interested in learning more and possibly volunteering to fill out. I was impressed by those who spoke, especially the participant, so I filled out the card. Much to my surprise, just 3 days later, I was contacted and invited to become a volunteer. I accepted. Now, understand, I was not thrown into this potentially life-altering work without preparation. I was interviewed and went through extensive training to be a caseworker associate. As part of my training, experienced volunteers, also known as part-time staff, let me sit in on their meetings with participants. They showed me how they guided participants through their next steps and made it clear why the program is so named. They did not do the work for them. They were guides who provided subtle navigation, but had the participants do the work. Now, this is one of the tenets of Samaritan ministry that most impressed me. And one of my earliest experiences during training was observing the interaction between a volunteer and a participant. That participant jumped up and cheered, and I mean really cheered, because he had just learned that he had a job. His delight was so pure that I felt his joy. You see, his success and joy became mine, and I wasn't even the volunteer who worked with him. By shadowing experienced volunteers and staff members, I was able to see, hear, and experience firsthand their interactions with the participant and to appreciate the impact of Samaritan ministry. I began as a caseworker associate at the Southeast DC Anacostia office, which is right next to St. Philip's Episcopal Church on U Street. Challenges of unemployment, homelessness, or forced shared housing, limited transportation options, limited resources for groceries, laundries, and other necessities that most of us just take for granted, and also dealing with exposure to all forms of violence, often surround many in this area of Southeast. We taught people how to complete applications on the computer. We suggested resources, we shared information, we gave gentle and as necessary, not so gentle pushes in a positive, constructive direction. Most importantly, we celebrated when someone scored a job, a better place to live, or a seat in a training program that would improve options in their life. Throughout these experiences, I learned names, needs, and personalities. I learned what might work, what would not work, and no matter what, how to regroup. Identifying new possibilities, untapped resources, and alternative ways to address issues helped to keep my own brain young and strong. Providing information about burial resources for loved ones who were HIV positive kept my heart soft. And working with everyone made me feel more in touch with my humanity and my sense of responsibility for the world I live in. Many of our participants learned about Samaritan Ministry of Greater Washington from other participants, friends, families, churches, and DC, Maryland, and Virginia agencies. Thank you to all who encouraged anyone to come through our doors. You have no idea how many lives you have impacted with that simple push. I want to extend a thank you to every donor and every partner church. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because of your generosity, all of this exists. Some of you donate individually, some as groups, both small and large, and some as corporations. You have donated baskets and you have bid on them too. You have supported functions like the fun-filled annual gala. You donate food and supplies for us to share with our many participants. You provide the means for us to serve in different locations in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and bring opportunities to those who seek to make their lives better. Thank you, my fellow volunteers. You are champions. Working hand in hand with you made the sun shine even on cloudy days. Always willing to say, hey, can we try this? Should we adjust that? What can we do to make a real difference? My fellow volunteers, I hope you all know that everything you do makes a positive difference every day, not only for the participants, but for all of us. I was tasked with sharing how my experience as a volunteer with this organization has impacted me as a person. Being a volunteer with Samaritan Ministry made me feel empowered to conquer some of the negatives surrounding us and to think outside of the box, especially during the pandemic. Serving at Samaritan Ministry put a smile on my face each and every time I walked through the door. Every meeting, every workshop, every event, every Zoom conversation. I am grateful for the experiences that I was privileged to have, as well as for the opportunity to work with such hardworking and giving people who really helped me to continue to grow. Please continue to support and ask your friends to support the efforts of everyone here. Thank you for listening.